Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello. Welcome to episode 121 of Dude and a Monkey. My name is Ian Loring at 221. 221. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I am joined by
Mark Foster, hello everybody.
Sparky, Marky, Sparky, Fosty, Wasty. Yeah. This evening, we are going to take in Stephen King's huge, throbbing Dark Tower. And we're going to be joined by a guest, which I'm not going to say right now. I'm not going to say. But it's going to be fun. We'll also talk some what we watched and other usual stuff. There's some Free Colours trilogy stuff on the Patreon this week.
Yes, there is two of my shows finally going up tomorrow. The Noir one won't be going up this week because I've recorded it twice and then my Audacity has eaten it twice. So I don't think I can face recording it again. So I am recording a different show tomorrow, which will be released.
Lovely.
It's a possibility of a new show that might happen every so often.
Okay, fair enough. Well, out of shit comes gold, I'm sure. That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good. I don't know. It's a good day. It's all relative these days, but it's a good day. Taylor Swift's announced a new album. Singles coming out tomorrow. Yeah. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good, and long bank holiday weekend coming up for a lot of people. I just realised probably not Mark, and I feel bad for mentioning it. So we'll move.
No, I'm at work for all of it.
Yeah, sorry. Apologies. And Well, we'll talk some Twin Peaks as well. I forgot, obviously.
Yes.
Scorsese's producing a Joker movie.
Yeah, this is so it's written by the guy who wrote The Fighter, and it's produced by Martin Scorsese. There's no casting news. It's a completely separate from the current DCU set of films. And Todd Phillips is going to co-write and direct it. That is interesting as fuck. What the fuck is everyone's problem?
Well, I think Todd Phillips is the problem, really, just because he's not...
All right, can I put it this way?
Yeah.
The director of Anchorman is making a film about the financial crisis.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not saying you're saying. I'm saying that it's just Todd Phillips has kind of been. He's been looking to kind of move out of being Todd, regarded as being the guy who did The Hangover and Road Trip for quite a while, and I think that maybe that kind of gritty crime thriller. I don't know. I have a feeling that could be within his wheelhouse.
Yeah. I mean, it would. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It's like Scorsese's producing a Joker film. If he trusts Todd Phillips to co-write and potentially direct, then so be it. I suppose. It's
What would be really interesting is the germination of how all this came about.
Well, quite, yeah. And it also feels like one that could just quietly die as well. It might be that Scorsese, drops out and then it just dies a slow death. I mean, it is already a bit confusing that you've got the Jared Leto one, and is he going to be back or is he not? And you've got this one around as well, and you've got Justice League and, all the shit that's going on with that at the moment.
I think that this being talked about is absolutely proof that's it. That Jared Leto isn't going to return as the Joker in this DCU.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the case. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of the Joker just being like a gangster who works his way up, which is kind of what he actually was in Suicide Squad, in fairness. He was just a really flamboyant and fucking twisted gangster.
Yeah.
And I that's the thing. I liked that element. Like, the character design of him in Suicide Squad, I really quite enjoyed. And that scene where he's just in that club with Harley Quinn. And then the next scene he's driving fast with her and whatnot, and it just does feel like a cheeky gangster guy, and I'd be up for leading into that. Maybe not with a Jared Leto-esque performance, but I'd be up for that. It kind of feels like they just need to get their fucking ducks in a row at the moment. Like let's get fucking Justice League out, and then whatever fucking comes out like off the back of that, and then we'll move on. I wonder, and I mean, when I don't think either of us particularly want to talk about this, but I wonder how much of this was maybe leaked to distract away from Joss Whedon's involvement in Justice League.
Yes, which it is that it's a very good point you raised there. It has kind of stopped a lot of people talking about that and given a lot of deflected people's rage elsewhere.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I'll watch it. Am I chomping at the bit for it? No, not really. But I'm not chomping at the bit for much at the moment. To be fair, it just.
I'm quite a Todd Phillips fan, so
good for you. Okay.
Yeah, there's a few of us. So I'm quite interested in that, to be honest, because I quite like Todd Phillips for my sins. I like War Dogs. I'm the one person that likes War Dogs, so.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd be very, very interested to see what he could do with that.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't seen War Dogs. I know you like it. I just.
It's one of those where I would never say to anybody you should really watch it, but at some point you'll get to it. And I don't mean like in the next 6 months or anything like that. I mean in like the next 3 or 4 years. At some point, you'll get to it.
Yeah, sure. I can see that.
And it's fine. It'd be fine because it's exactly the same movie to watch in like 2019 as it was in 2016.
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't know. It just he feels like a weirdly inessential filmmaker who's made a shitload of money.
I think he quite likes that as well.
I mean, like I think it like Sean Levy would be a point of comparison, but the thing is, he produces Stranger Things, so people love him.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
Todd Phillips is one of those who said that that his most successful films. Were essentially a piss take. One happened that the studio basically decided was an absolute fucking disaster in The Hangover, and just kind of threw it out there, and it caught fire really. And then the next one was just a piss take of the first, and the third one was just them just going, I wonder what we can get away with.
Yeah.
Which. You've got to admire the fucking balls on the guy. But I do actually remember him saying, him comparing, and saying that while they were filming The Hangover Part 3, they kept saying New York, New York to each other. When they were doing something stupid and something overblown, and just, well, this is just ridiculous, they just go, yeah, New York, New York.
What?
Referencing the fact that Scorsese claimed that he took far too much coke and went far too crazy making New York, New York. And basically that's why in the 80s, virtually, he became a little bit like studio poison. They didn't want to touch him. They didn't want to go near him. And then, remember, he made New York, New York, and then Raging fucking Bull. But in the 80s, he was a jobbing director because nobody wanted to fucking touch him. Partially because of what had happened with New York, New York.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. No, it's I don't know. We'll see. I'm sorry. I'm pretty much done there, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay. So trailers. What have we got this week? What have you been watching, bud?
Watched the trailer for Tulip Fever, the Red Band trailer for a period drama starring Christoph Waltz, Dane DeHaan and Alicia Vikander. trailer seems to really want you to know that you're going to get to see a lot of Alicia Vikander nude in it.
Okay.
When usually trailers, red band trailers, are usually just to get a few bucks and shits in there. This is just to get some titties in there, which kind of made me go, all right, I've kind of seen enough of Alicia Vikander's naked body in 1 minute and 40 seconds now. I feel a little bit leery. The film looks quite good. It's just the trailer was a little bit bothersome, to be honest.
That's you saying that. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's me saying that. And usually I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I just felt a little bit like, do you know what? I'll go and see the film. You don't have to show me there's going to be tits in it to make me go and see it. Let me find that out naturally.
Nice.
So yeah, that it looks quite good. The trailer for Gemini, which very much looks like it's taken on the Moonlight colour palette. Looks quite an interesting trailer. Seems like the assistant to some kind of musician star. The musician dies or kills herself or is possibly murdered, and there's kind of an investigation, and she seems to be a possible suspect.
Okay.
But looks quite interesting, actually. The trailer's a good job of making you go, all right, yeah, I want to watch that now.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that's probably done its job then, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. It might be a shit film. It's a good trailer.
Okay, cool.
And the final one that I've seen, I know I've seen something else at the cinema, which you'll probably mention in a minute, and I'll go, that's the one. Literally right before Aaron, Justin Long plays stock Justin Long character in straight to VOD Justin Long film.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. Literally right before it, essentially it would appear like he breaks up with his girlfriend then calls him up a year and a half later to tell him that she's getting married and she would like him to come to the wedding, and then yeah, so there you go.
Okay, fair enough. So trailer for The Mountain Between Us. Idris Elba and Kate Winslet get stuck in snowy wilderness. I'll watch it. Yeah, I'd never heard of it, and then there was a trailer before The Dark Tower, and yeah, I'll watch it. Kind of hope one of them gets eaten by a bear, but I'll watch it.
I'll watch that.
And trailer for, I think it's called Little Evil.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the trailer, but I remember the trailer I was thinking of, by the way, which I'll go over in a second. Yeah, but I didn't actually get to watch it. What's this about?
So it's basically Adam Scott is has got with Evangeline Lilly, and his stepson he suspects is Satan's son.
Fair enough.
And yeah, it's literally out on Netflix next week.
Oh. Well.
Apparently. So
they've got so much coming out.
Like, literally, I swear the trailer dropped this week and the thing is just on Netflix next week. It's absurd.
They do that quite a bit, though.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so... Yeah, well, no, they do, yeah. So there's that. I mean, it looks... yeah, coming 1st of September, yeah. It looks all right. I'll watch it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just looks very throwaway comedy version of The Omen.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
And it's like 90 minutes long and it's on Netflix, so, you know, why not?
Yeah, I'll happily watch that.
And I actually think that's about it.
Well, I watched one called Geostorm.
Oh, yeah, no, well, I've seen the trailer for Geostorm, yes.
Yeah.
That looks like something.
Yes, me and Bex have a thing where when we're watching trailers in a cinema, rather than talking to each other, we'll just look at each other and give a thumbs up or a thumbs down for it.
Yeah.
And this got an emphatic double thumbs up from me. And just after it, just went, that film with Gerard Butler. I was like, yeah. She's like, really? 2 thumbs? Like, it's a weather film. I love a weather film, and this has got all of the weather in it.
It's got all the weather. It's
Yeah.
got it, and Jim Sturgis
Jim Sturgis,
for
yeah.
some
Ed
reason.
Harris. Yeah. Jim Sturgis doing an American accent, which kind of feels a little bit like, why? But do you
Yeah.
know what? Fine, right? But just go onto the Geostorm film Wikipedia page and have a look at at the poster that's on that page, and tell me what film it might remind you
Oh my
of.
God, Inception, like no one's business. That thing is fucking ridiculous.
It's terrible, isn't it?
It's. I mean, it's the bloody
Fun
It's the font. It's
and the
like
colouring.
the coloring and just like the kind of the layout as well.
Yeah,
It's
it's shameless. I mean, it's not quite the what is it? One shot and snitch.
oh
Where it's the
yeah
same
yeah yeah yeah
torso.
yeah yeah yeah. No, but I mean it's pretty yeah it's pretty ropey, pretty ropey.
Yeah, but yeah, Geostorm. Yeah, I will. Fuck it, I'll go and watch that in the cinema happily.
I think happily yeah okay I probably would happily fair enough yes
Yeah,
okay so we are going to move on. We are going to be talking The Dark Tower. So this is directed by Nikolaj Arcel.
Nikolaj Arcel.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's go with that. Starring Idris Elba, Matthew McConaughey, Tom Taylor, woman that looks way too young to be Tom Taylor's mum. Jackie O'Haley, he's in it, and so's Abby Lee. So there's some people in that film. The Dark Tower. So it's a sci-fi, fantasy, horror, western package. There is a Dark Tower that keeps our universe from the evil forces outside of our universe. Matthew McConaughey plays a guy with magics called Walter. And I'm glad that they actually bring attention to the fact that his name's Walter in the film. And he, otherwise known as the Man in Black, he is trying to destroy the Dark Tower. And our hero, whose name is Jake, I believe, Jake Chambers, I'm going to say, played by Tom Taylor. He's been having visions of the Man in Black and visions of Idris Elba's Roland, otherwise known as the Gunslinger. Jake finds the gunslinger. They go off to find the Man in Black, and there are flashbacks and kind of weird editing choices aplenty. This film is infamously 95 minutes long, despite the fact that it's the start of a franchise that has spanned many, many books and whatnot, and is, even though it was only budgeted at $60 million, I think it's being talked of as one of the biggest flops of the summer. It made less than $1 million in the UK on its opening weekend and debuted at number 5, and it didn't do that great in the US either.
It's tracking to gross. They reckon it could pull with international markets and everything like that. It could hit about 100 million.
So about 100 million worldwide for a project that was supposed to be 3 films with 2 TV series interspersed.
They've changed that now.
Okay.
They've changed that up. They've gone for an interesting tact now with this. Okay. What they're doing is, this is going to be the introduction to a TV series, and then there'll be a TV series, and then from there, they'll pick out movies to do from it. But they're basically saying it's the head of Sony that's doing it said, we're not actually that phased by the perceived poor performance, but we're still going to go ahead with the project. It's not been as big a disaster as is being reported.
I don't know. That's some spin.
It's not. I mean, they're right. It's not going. Probably going to struggle to make its money back. But it's not. It's not like a. It's being kind of compared a lot of the time to something like John Carter. And it's nowhere near that level of fucking
No,
a loss.
no. I mean, it didn't. I mean, they were quite frugal with the budget.
Yeah.
That's what saved this film.
What was saved, he said, is they were frugal with the marketing.
Well,
They didn't
yeah,
do any. They
they
didn't
didn't
do
do
much from
anything.
marketing. No, they didn't do out. So they've said that the actual budget it is around totals in around about, when you include all the marketing. He said totals in at around about 100 million. So if it makes 100 million, we've made our money back and we've got the name out there.
What I think they've done.
Oh, hello. We haven't introduced. So we were keeping that as a surprise, but yes, joining us for the first time ever on the show. 221 episodes. She's been in the corner, being told to keep quiet the whole entire time. It's Mark's lovely wife, Becky. Hello, Becky.
Hello, you alright?
Yeah, good yourself.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, what I think they've done to an extent with it is they've relied too heavily on Stephen King's name to bring people in to watch it. And a lot of Stephen King fans have been a bit miserly about it. Because obviously it was announced and everyone was very excited, and then it was announced that it wasn't quite going to be an adaptation, it was maybe going to be something else, and then so people were a bit annoyed about that, and then the casting was announced and everyone got up in arms about that as well. And I think there's a lot of Stephen King fans that are getting the knickers in a twist about the fact that it's not going to be an adaptation of the books because it's a sequel to the books.
And I love that idea.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I do as well. I think it frees them up an awful lot, because there's stuff in the books that you read it and you go, I'd love to see that on screen, but then if you actually take a step back and think about it, a lot of it would look really schlocky on screen. It wouldn't work, and it's by doing it as a sequel, it allows them to sort of still operate within that world and with those characters, but they don't have to all be the same characters. They don't all have to be have the same backstory as they do in the books and be the same people. They can expand it a little bit more and have a little bit more freedom. And there's things that they can do within the mechanics of the world that was created by the books that are still going to fit and they're still going to work. But it's new things to see. The fans of the books have always got the books. You can always revisit that. It's nice to take it in a different direction, and it's. I came out of the movie yesterday looking forward to the rest of them, because I don't know where they're going to take it, because the start of this as a franchise is completely different to the first book. You know, it's doing completely different things. There's elements of a few of the different books in this movie, and it's kind of pulled it all together and kick-started it a bit quicker. I mean, the first book is essentially Roland walking across the desert, chasing after the man in black. That wouldn't have made for a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, is it right that Jake only turns up in like the fourth book or something? Is that? I heard
no,
that somewhere.
Jake is in the first book.
Okay.
Briefly, it's mostly. Are we all spoilers all the time?
All spoilers all the time.
Do it.
Basically, Jake is he's killed on what they call in the film Keystone Earth, and he wakes up in Midworld in like a way station, and gets found by Roland in this way station and accompanies him chasing after the man in black, and then Roland eventually, given a choice between saving Jake and catching up to the man in black, lets Jake die, and then in the books, basically a lot of Jake's story between then and when he comes back to Midworld is him having memories of being in Midworld and memories of not ever dying, and all this kind of stuff that's conflicting, and it's slowly sort of driving him mad, and that's what kind of prompts him to find a way back to Roland. But
Gotcha.
So there's that, but it's completely different than, you know, Jake is in it briefly, but the first book is basically two guys walking across the desert, one behind the other. And there's more to it than that. Obviously, it's a large amount of its character development, and it allows you to get to know Roland before the rest of them are introduced, but it wouldn't have made for a good movie.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I suppose dealing with the film on its own terms, then. I mean, Mark, what did you think of it overall? I mean, because how into the Dark Tower are you?
I've never read the books, but obviously they've been around me for quite a while. You know, Bex has read them multiple times, and as basically I sort of. I said, are you going to read them? No. Well, then can I kind of tell you what happens there to share it? So I've kind of got Beck's version of the books, just because there was already like when Bex really started reading them, and I started getting into the idea of them. There was already sort of 5 books, and I'll hold my hands up. I don't really read much fiction or anything like that. I read mostly biographies and factual books and things like that.
Yeah.
So I knew kind of the story, so it was interesting going into it. It being a sequel and being aware of it being a sequel, but kind of having a general awareness of the actual books without having too much been steeped too heavily into them. And I thought it was tremendously entertaining, to be honest. It's there's zero fat on it. We spoke about it on here, and myself and Becky spoke about it. That 95-minute runtime was a worry. It stuck out as a little bit odd, but it's maybe not that there was. I don't think that there was ever. I doubt that he was told you need to get this movie down to 95 minutes. It seems like a strange one. It seems like if you wanted to put in a 105-minute cut, you quite easily could put a 105-minute cut in there, and nobody would have really batted an eyelid. It's the fact that it's under 100 minutes. It's a 2-digit runtime, and that's what caused people to get a little bit worried. But there's not an ounce of fat on this movie at all. It gets its shit done and goes. But I think there's enough. For instance, there's a key moment in the film where Idris Elba refers to the man in black Walter as he's a sorcerer. Jake asks him what is he, and he says he's a sorcerer. That's it. Done. Sorcerer. We know he's a sorcerer. There we go. He's got magic powers. Now, other films might have gone and had a 5 to 7 minute bit where it shows him being a sorcerer and crushing all of these worlds and doing all of this and this and this and this. And it might not have seemed within the remits of that film like it was kind of like killing time or building time, essentially. But this film has got a lot of that. It's a lot of things just fucking... Right, that's that, and that's that, and that's that. And should we explain that more? Nah, fuck it, it's fine. But it was never in that much detriment to the film, I don't think. It didn't need to be. We say a lot on here about films is that they're often 10, 15 minutes too long. This isn't. It's 95 minutes. And yeah, I'd have probably watched a 2-hour version of it and still probably been entertained. But I got a 95-minute movie where it started, it ticked along, not a lot actually happens when you think about it. There's not a great deal to the story, but it hit all the beats I wanted it to hit, and I came out of it going, I actually really quite enjoyed that.
Well, I said to you, didn't I, when we came out of the cinema, it felt at points, not in a bad way, but it felt at points like a really well done TV pilot, and that's what it was essentially. It's a set to the rest of the franchise. Basically, what they've done in that film is they've set up Roland and Jake's father-son kind of dynamic that they have going on, which is one of the most engaging parts of the book series. That is there in that once he comes back, it is there, and it's kind of what humanises Roland from being just this machine of a gunslinger that's chasing. His motivation in the books isn't revenge like it is in the films. It's just to see the Dark Tower, but he doesn't set off on this noble enterprise to save it. It is just purely to see it before he dies, and this one it's revenge. And the relationship with Jake, it humanises him. It gives him a bit more depth to his character, and I think that's been really well done. That's been set up really well. I also like the fact that they've made Walter a much bigger character than he is in the books. He's a always there presence in the books as like the bad guy, but he doesn't actually show up an awful lot. He's not there an awful lot. They don't see him and fight him and things like that. It's a couple of little bits, and I think from a cinematic point of view it works a lot better to have that very visible, very present antagonist. So I like that they've done that, but again, the freedom to do that it's given to them by the fact that they're not doing it as an adaptation. It is a sequel, so essentially all bets are off with regards to the storyline. They can do what they want as long as they stay faithful to the world.
Yeah, and I think it's probably worth explaining why it's a sequel as opposed to anything else. And I want to see if I got my understanding right of this, because the film never really explains this. There's a couple of lines of dialogue about constantly chasing each other or something, but
everyone who's with you always dies, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. So it isn't it that essentially the series ends and it kind of all, there's the possibility of it all kind of starting over again.
The book series.
Yeah.
He makes it to the Dark Tower, and essentially disappears the Crimson King and makes it to the top of the Dark Tower, and comes out into the last room, which is essentially he just passes through the room and it all starts again. So the last line of the books is the same as the first, which is the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. He just starts again, and he realizes as he goes into this last room in the Dark Tower, shit, I've done this before. Oh my god, I'm doing it again. I'm doing the same thing again. It's going to start again. And he realizes that every time he makes it, he gets up to that room, he passes through it, he starts again, and his memory essentially goes of the journeys that he's done before until he makes it back to that point again. So he's doomed to repeat this process until something clicks into place and everything is right, and it's the right way of having gone about it. And the thing that made people twig that it was going to be a sequel is there's a horn, like a horn, that he loses in battle in one of the books, in one of his sort of stories that he's telling about his younger years, and he finds it as he's going up through the Dark Tower in the book series journey that he's doing, and he has it when he comes out of the other side, and he has it in the film. So that's the kind of telling point that this is the sequel. He picked it up on his way up the Dark Tower last time round, and he's still got it. So this is a sequel. It's starting again, because he doesn't have it at the start of the book series.
Okay, gotcha. That's really clever. I like that. And I mean, the thing is as well, I mean, what I think this film does well, I must say, I rather like the film myself. And I think the thing that it does really well is the fact that there is a bunch of stuff that is kind of unanswered, but at the same time, it also actually tells its own self-contained story quite well. And if this was it would be okay, in this particular universe, okay, the man in black's gone, Jake's going to go off with Roland, and they're going to have adventures or something, and then if the man in black somehow comes back, and if we're going to see their adventures in the future, great. If we don't, never mind. We've still got quite a good little 95-minute genre mashup film.
That's it. I think it works on a few different levels. It works if you've read the books and you can get your head out of your ass for a minute. It works as a sequel. It works if you haven't read the books as just a new adventure. And it actually works just on its own if they don't make any sequels. If they decide to just kind of go, do you know what, it didn't work, it's not going to make any money, we're going to leave it at that, it's fine as like you say, as a little cowboy in New York kind of movie. It works on a few different levels, and I think it's getting a lot of unfair criticism, to be honest.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the only... I think you can see the stitches in the edit from time to time. The flashbacks to Dennis Haysbert and whatnot, it kind of feels like they filmed more than literally just the footage you saw there. The story is really, really bare bones, and I agree that I quite like that. But it does feel like there's maybe a bit of flavour there that's a bit missing. I don't know. Even the man in black, when they the kid's mum and the stepdad walk in and he's there cooking chicken and stuff, it kind of feels like, could we have a bit more of that weird southern dangerous charm thing going on with him, and it kind of feels like maybe there was a bit more of that.
They're maybe saving that for the Stand movie.
Oh, fuck me, because he's the guy from The Stand, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Randall Flagg, is Walter, is the Man in Black. They're all the same. He's essentially like this evil entity that kind of shifts through various Stephen King stories and kind of pops up, and he's supposed to essentially be just evil, really, in different formats. And Randall Flagg is Walter, and in the books, actually, they do go to the version of Earth where the Captain Trips virus from The Stand has actually decimated everything, and they see all the papers and stuff, which is quite nice. I do hope that some of that comes into the film series if that's how they're doing it. Just a little bit of there's a lot of references to other stories, and it ties the universe of the Stephen King extended universe, we referred to it as yesterday,
yes.
didn't we? It ties it all together, and I can't see them doing the bit where they actually go to Earth and visit Stephen King.
No, I doubt that.
That would just be a bit too cheesy, but it would be nice if some of the references were still there.
Am I right in thinking that Jake Chambers is related to, in some way, to Eyeball Chambers and Chris Chambers of Stand By Me?
Oh, I've not heard
In
that
some way, there's some thread that relates that to there.
Possibly. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like, if you can go down the rabbit hole a little bit if you start researching it online. You can link them to like loads of different books, and there's loads of references in the Dark Tower series that are around. I mean, some of the most obvious one with Jake is he's supposed to be essentially like a doppelganger of the kid in Hearts in Atlantis.
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're getting off track of the film, but yeah.
And aren't the Nethermen that come for Jake in this, aren't they the same as the guys in Hearts in Atlantis?
The Lawmen.
The Lawmen, that's it, yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy. You could have an insane world. The problem is, I just don't think there's. I don't think there's as much of the audience, or it's a small audience that requires a lot of money being spent to fulfill that, and it's hard to get. For some reason, Stephen King movies, especially fantasy movies, are a hard sell. If you do a Stephen King drama movie, even a horror movie, they're easier to market.
Yeah.
If you do a Stephen King drama, you can always say from the Stephen King the mind behind The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption, and people will go and see it. If you're doing a horror, you can call it from the mind of Stephen King, the mind of It and The Shining.
The mind that made everyone afraid of clowns.
Yeah, so you can do that. But the sci-fi bit, it just seems a little bit like you're playing into more of his hokey crowd, which we spoke about last week, Ian.
Yeah,
there's actually less of it than you'd think in it.
Yeah, I've got to say, The Shining, the multiple references to the kid having a shine, really, there was some fucking cognitive dissonance going on there. Just the way that, I don't know, The Shining is so iconic, and like it was the only film property that's ever talked about someone having shine. And then they're just kind of like liberally throwing that in here, and I loved it. It was great. I mean, it was fucking. I don't know. It just
quite a lot of the books, The Shine.
Sorry.
It's referenced in a few of the books, The Shine.
Oh no, I don't doubt it. It's just like obviously like not having read any of the Dark Tower books. It's just like to like have it be talked about so much in this. I thought it really kind of blew my mind. Like it's really like this whole thing is so ambitious. I mean the Pennywise fucking thing in that like dead forest. You know,
I love that. That's like in Marc.
That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that.
There was another little nod as well, wasn't there? Somewhere else. What was that? There was another good one.
Oh, the
1408.
Sorry.
Yeah, 1408. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
So that's it. I mean, it's just to do it right and the way people want it to be done. It's such a massive project, and I think that's why they haven't marketed it enough to pull in non-fans of the book series and non-Stephen King fans, and they haven't done enough like fan service kind of pandering to pull in the fans of the books. So they've kind of left themselves in the middle with this really quite good little movie that people aren't seeing for some reason. So it's it's frustrating, really.
The fallen foul to the fact that people find it easier to be snippy about things nowadays. It's I forever am hovering over the tweet button saying, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if people told you the movies they did fucking like?" And it is getting a little bit like that. I mean, moving more direct on the movie, I thought Elba was very good, to be honest. I think that was a lot of people's worries, was the fact that because, well, elephant in the room, he's a big black dude, and the gunslinger Roland in the books isn't.
Oh, really? Oh,
No,
okay.
not
Well,
that.
good on
No.
him.
Stephen King based him on
Clint Eastwood
Clint Eastwood
in the spaghetti westerns.
Yeah,
Oh, that makes sense.
and that's referenced quite heavily throughout the books that's what he looks like. So that when Idris Elba was cast, a lot of people took exception to it because of that, and a lot of people took exception to it because, I don't know, in the books he reads as being older, and I mean, when I read that it was going to be Idris Elba, I was not unhappy about it, but dubious about it. He doesn't.
You were unsure, were you?
Yeah. Mainly because he just doesn't give off that the kind of air that you'd need for Roland from the books to be brought to the screen. But I don't know. I'm sure Idris Elba's great, and he's got his fans and stuff. Whenever I watch him in stuff, he feels like Idris Elba, just in different situations. He's always quite samey. So I was unsure of it for that reason, but he was really good in it, and I think the kid that played Jake was really good, and they had a nice chemistry.
Yeah, there's a couple of great sort of scenes with it. I thought I mentioned it to Bex when we were having something to eat after watching the film. The bit where he finds his mum. There's a shot where it shoots up to Idris Elba, and Idris Elba knows what's about to happen, and he's saying to him, "Just know." And then when he just basically tries to calm him down, there's a moment after he's sort of calmed him down where he just stands up and he literally just scoops him up. And it was good because there was a moment earlier where after he's shot the guy that's running away with Jake, and Jake runs up to him and puts essentially like hugs him, and straight away he puts his arm around him. There's no him pushing him away saying don't hug me or anything like that you might kind of expect from these type of movies sometimes. There was an instant warming to the kid. And I thought that built the relationship really well. And the fact that remember, we are all spoilers all the time, guys, is at the end of the movie, it's Roland who says to Jake, "You should come with me."
Yeah.
You should come with me. What else are you going to do? You've got nothing here. Come with me. We can have each other. It's not the other way around like you'd expect it to be. And Jake's very much like, really? You want me to come with you? And he's like, yeah. And it's that he's almost immediately got this, right, this kid's got no one. I've got no one. I need to take care of this kid.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's lovely. Yeah, and I think that relationship's really solid. And I for such a short film, they actually do a good job in establishing their relationship. I don't know, it speaks, like, for instance, his mate. You know, like, he's in a couple of scenes at the start, and it kind of seems like he's going to have some sort of part to play, and then off he disappears. It's very much like there are scenes that literally they're saying something's going to happen, and then the very next scene, like, that happens pretty much, and it like there's not really that usual connective like scene of something else and then the thing happens. It's like it's film grammar just feels ever so slightly off, but at the same time, if that means I enter the cinema at 7:25 and I leave the cinema at 9:20, I'ma take that.
Right. Well, what I'll say on this is, I picked Bex up from work at 5:20. We went to the cinema. We went for something to eat after we went to the cinema, and we were home by 9:00.
There you go. Fantastic.
It's that, and don't get me wrong, and we both really enjoyed our time with the movie. they also, which is something that a lot of the current crop of blockbusters, which predominantly nowadays are superhero movies, there's no way of getting around it, is a quite fair criticism of this current crop of superhero movies is they very rarely get a bad guy done well. The bad guys are always usually generic. I struggle to remember a lot of the bad guys from these movies, whereas in 95 minutes, they managed to establish a better bad guy than most fucking Marvel movies have managed to do in usually 2 hours plus.
Yeah, they give him time to luxuriate in being this evil bastard, don't they?
I love the fact that he kills people by literally just saying, stop breathing.
Yeah.
It's like, you dick.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that kind of took me out of the film a little bit was McConaughey's wig continuity was terrible.
I didn't know.
I didn't notice. I was kind of looking at the fact that he just seemed to have a jacket on with nothing underneath.
He seemed to wear a grandad shirt with a waistcoat over it, which is a strong look.
It's a strong, yeah. I was just thinking it's a strong look.
But I like the fact that McConaughey has done this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
it was probably just like, right, you're going to pay me like $10 million to like have greasy black hair and just have fun playing a bad guy. And you know what? In this one scene, I'm gonna cook up some chicken in a homage to Killer Joe. Why not?
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, and it does seem like he's gone. Yeah, fuck it, why not? With this movie, which is fun for actors to do, and I think it's. You know, he's going to be playing Randall Flagg in the Stand movie. If there are new Darktown movies, he could crop up in that. He might crop up in the TV show. It's just...
Well, no, kudos to both of them. Both of them have committed to doing whatever is next in the series.
Yeah.
Idris Elba said, well, of course, if they make a TV show of it, I'll be in it.
Yeah.
I'm the gunslinger.
It seems like there's a lot of people that kind of believe in it, and they've kind of... It'd be nice if the studio did go, do you know what? What's something has basically said is that it's what we could have done is made $150 million movie and it bomb and made $70 million, and that's a bomb, a complete bomb. But what we're going to do instead is make 2 movies for around $150 million with a TV series in that as well, and we can kind of maybe
offset them against each other,
play off against that a little bit and work it out that way. And whether or not it comes off or not, it's a different tactic to come at it with, in terms of it's a film to jumpstart a TV series rather than a TV series to jumpstart a film.
Yeah.
And TV's big business now.
I do wish they'd done more marketing for it, though.
They probably should have.
Right, I mean, they made a really fucking great trailer, and then that was really it.
Presto. Presto's what they didn't do. But Prestos are expensive. You've got, like I said, you've got to ship McConaughey and you just Elba around the world for 2 weeks and paying all their expenses.
There you go.
Yeah, and I reckon McConaughey's expenses are quite high. Elba's will just be like DJ nights and shit like that, won't they?
That's true.
Hanging out at fucking Macklemore.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean it's this is a oh man, Apple TV 4K is probably going to be here by the time it's out on 4K. So
yeah,
day one 4K, I think for me. I'm really looking forward to giving this another watch.
Yeah, it'll be a day one iTunes buy for me as well. Obviously, living in the house that I live in, it kind of fucking has to be. So, but yeah, I'll be very much looking forward to it. So, Bex, where are you? Are you definitely not shit touching cloth or shit?
Definitely not shit.
Where are you, Ian?
Yeah, definitely not shit. Really enjoyed it.
I'm also definitely not shit as well. And our poll was definitely not shit, 27%. Touching cloth, 36%, and shit, 37%. Well, I'm actually quite surprised that it was that high towards the middle and the higher ground.
It's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. And, you know, who knows what Dan Artie's fucking clicked on that one.
It's a fair point.
One final comment on it, actually, before I disappear, if we finish.
What, disappear?
Not literally disappear.
Fucking hell, yes. I thought you were going to go all fucking wood and black on me.
given Stephen King's passion for doing projects that do cross media boundaries, he's done a lot of his books that he's then done graphic novels of.
That's all.
Well, yeah, like The Dark Tower as one, and he does like doing films that then follow into TV shows, and then there's books, and then there's a lot of follow-ups, and he likes giving the people that make these various medias the freedom to go, do you know what, if you think that's going to work better as a TV show, do that, yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah, you want to do some films in there as well, great. Make a board game, I don't care, have fun with it.
But he's not charged for this, is he?
Well, he charges like minimal.
He charges like $1 a
Is it like $1? Yeah.
He's Dollar Babies, hasn't he? That project that he does. But the fact that he is very much, he likes to see the stuff that he does, sort of take shape as different medium, because if you've written a book, you're not going to really enjoy reading it, are you? But if you've written a book and then someone makes a film of it, you can enjoy that. And I think he likes watching his babies go out into the world and become different things. And I think doing it the way that they're doing it, you've got, and even the fact that they've done it as a sequel rather than an adaptation, it allows the Dark Tower body of work is going to be books, graphic novels, films and TV series, and that's going to all be canon, and I like that. I like the fact that they've done it that way.
He's talked of doing an anime for it at some point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not for one of the stories and bits like that.
Interesting. So yeah, I have to say I went into it yesterday really quite dubious, because I am guilty of reading reviews sometimes before I watch stuff, and especially with something that I've been anticipating for as long as the Dark Tower movie. I was interested to see what people said, and it's not been positive. So I went into it yesterday really quite worried, and was absolutely relieved that it was as good as it was. I absolutely loved it.
I had a feeling about it. That was the thing. I don't know. It's like good looking short genre mashup stuff, and it kind of just felt like it was in my wheelhouse. And
yeah, it's fun. It's so much fun, and he looks really cool reloading his gun. I think that was the main thing about the trailer that pulled me in. He reloads his gun like a badass.
You love a gun reload.
I do love a gun reload. That and a neck break.
Solid.
So yeah, it was a definite relief for me.
Oh, Ace, I'm glad to hear it. That's brilliant. Okay, so I think Becky is planning on going. Is that right? Or
yeah, I'll leave you guys to it. Have fun.
Nice one. Good speaking to you.
Yeah, you too. See you later.
Cheers. All the best. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so thank you very much to Becky. That was good. And shall we do some peaks?
Yes, we can do some peaks. Yes.
What do you think?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I thought essentially the short film at the start of it, the 10-minute short film we got at the beginning was brilliant, and was a wonderfully kind of sweet little moment in the film. It felt like we'd earned that as viewers, and
absolutely.
And the fact, because I remember you were talking to yourself about it, and you were saying that you were hoping that they'd be together and that things had worked out for those guys. And it felt a little bit, I'll admit, it felt a little bit mean-spirited when you saw them sat there together. And Bobby goes over and sits down. You just assume that they're together when you see that.
Yeah.
And then they're not together. Not only they're not together, Big Ed's fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And Norma's franchised the Double R and is knocking boots with the prick who's franchised it with her. It just felt a little bit. You felt, come on, don't do that. And then the beginning of this was just. It was more like he went, did you think I wasn't going to give you this moment?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, I just the music as well, and the way it kind of like just faded out and then came back in again. I mean, it was great, and it feels like, right, that's closed the book on that chapter then.
Yes.
And you know, I mean, that's the thing. If like Norma is just in the background in some shots now, I'm fine because I know she's happy.
Yeah.
Big Ed, I'm thinking maybe we just don't see again, and you know that's fine. And I would assume that's it for Nadine.
Yeah, I reckon that's going to be the last we'll see of her. And I think that maybe even Dr. Amp. I think maybe we've seen the last of him. Maybe he's served his purpose.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. I think we're getting to a point now where the seemingly random scenes are going to be pretty much done. Like I do wonder whether we'll ever see Jerry Horn again, or whether he'll just be stuck in the forest for the rest of his life.
I hope we do see him again. I hope we see him I hope we just see him just getting out of the forest. Like I said, I hope we see him just getting back into the what is it, and Ben saying, "Where have you been?" and him just going, just don't ask, and walking off.
Yeah, that'd be fine. That would be fine. But yeah, it's I don't know, because like Ashley Judd, are we going to get any more of that?
I don't know. If the thing is there, if we don't, it's kind of what's going on there? You know, why was she? What was? I don't want to say what was the point, because I've enjoyed her being in it. I enjoy actually jumping in anything. But it's a little bit like that's just a little thing you had in the back of your mind, wasn't it? And you've put it in there. It does feel a little bit like there's a possibility that this could have quite easily have been told in 8 hours rather than 18. But he didn't want to tell that in 8 hours. He wanted to tell it in 18 because he wanted to have these little small interactions, these little slices of life.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly.
But then only David Lynch could have a little slice of life just there for no other reason than just it being there, that has a husband in a fucking iron lung for some reason.
Oh, it's just a bit of flavour in it, you know. Just
it's...
Yeah. So I suppose the kind of the meat of the matter, though. I mean, Bowie wasn't back as such.
No,
that was quite something.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. It's visually interesting as fuck, wasn't it?
And I mean, oh man, who's Judy? Judy's going to be someone.
Yeah, who is Judy? Yeah. Is Judy somebody new, or is Judy somebody we know?
I mean, I'm assuming we'll find out. I'd like to think so. Anyway, but again, the convergence on Twin Peaks. I mean, Dougie, is that it for Dougie Jones as well, or like?
I think that certainly something happens there. It's the fact that he hears Gordon call and then immediately perks up and is right. What was that? And it's yeah. There's something going on. The log lady bit was also very. That was tough to take at points. Her essentially ringing to tell Hart she was dying.
Dude, just the fact that, fuck, she looked ill. She looked really fucking ill. Bless her. And I really liked. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. She was dying.
Yeah, but I mean, I really liked the fact that the in memory of in the first episode was the actress's name, and the in memory of in this one was the character's name. I thought that was a really, really nice touch, and the fact that they even have that moment with them all in the police station, and like the log lady's dead. You know, like it's where it kind of actually feels like a monumental passing. I thought that was a lovely moment. Like heartbreaking, but so it's. I thought it was the best mix of like Peaks people and activity, like old school, but also the newer stuff, and that was similar last week as well. I think it's found its footing
That's
really
it.
well.
It's found its groove. But it found its groove about episode 12, I'd say, where it found that kind of groove. So we've had a good few episodes like that. You kind of does make me a little bit wish that it had found its groove 10 episodes ago. But I think that it'll maybe, I've been saying it quite a lot. I think on a continuous rewatch, watching it all together, I think that it'll all start to make a lot more sense.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah. I don't know. I'm starting to feel more comfortable with the fact that there are only a few more episodes left.
Yeah, there's still enough time for him to close off these stories.
Yeah. I feel you can kind of confidently say that now as well, whereas a couple of episodes back, maybe not so much. But, yeah, shit, man. I mean, 3 left. Like, two, like, a long one and a shorter one. But, yeah 3 left.
2 weeks. It's mad.
Yeah.
It's quite terrifying that only a couple of months ago we didn't have this.
Quite. Okay, I think I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, what have you been watching this week, bud?
Well, all mine have kind of like connecting tissue. All of my watches. No, actually, one of them doesn't. I watched the Chase Crawford and Tyler Labine movie Mountain Men, which is directed and written by Cameron Labine, Tyler's brother, who has written and directed a couple of movies he's been in. It's on Netflix. It's comedy drama where you've got 2 brothers. One's played by Tyler Labine, who is he's the typical Tyler Labine character. He's an affable but verging on being a bit of a loser. Still lives in the small town up in the mountains, and his big shot brother comes back for their mother's wedding. Big shot brother's played by Chase Crawford. Turns out he's not quite as hot shit as he claims to be, and have got it all together as he has. And they go up a mountain to their deceased father's cabin because they hear that squatters are in there and are causing all kinds of shit and everything like that. But it's just a ruse to get some time together by Tyler Labine's character. And then Chase Crawford accidentally eats some hash-laced snack treats and breaks his leg, and they've got to get down the mountain.
Okay, that sounds all right. That
you know what, it's super low budget, but not in a you can tell way. It's just you can tell that it only probably costs. If it costs $1 million, I'd be surprised.
Okay.
In the sense that there's no big set pieces or anything like that. It's just a lot of just 2 guys kind of like walking and talking. But it's funny enough. Tyler Labine is a charismatic enough character to hold this movie. Chase Crawford's he's perfectly all right as the character he is in it. He's nowhere near as one-dimensional as he could be, being essentially a model turned TV actor.
Okay, cool. Well, that sounds okay. How long is it?
85 minutes.
That'll do.
So there you go. Yeah. These are the ones that are all connected. I rewatched The Conjuring.
Sweet.
That's a cracking movie. It really is.
Yeah.
It does make you think. Do you know what? I can see how these films kicked on. There's some good scares. It's a lot more gnarly than I remember it being. It's a lot nastier than I remember it being.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't know why, but in my brain it become a little bit more. I don't want to say tongue in cheek, but a little bit kind of like more. Not as nasty, I think, is the best way I can put it. But it is quite a nasty movie. There's a lot going on, a lot kind of happening in it. I'm currently rewatching The Conjuring 2 as well, but I've got about half an hour of that left, and that's the same. That's a lot more intense than I remember it being. And fucking hell, the nun is terrifying.
Yep.
That's going to be just, oh god, that movie. Yeah. So I'm rewatching that. I'm enjoying it, but that's fucking. It's very, very good. But it's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, they are. They are. You got to settle in for those films, haven't you?
Yeah, but the thing is, I've got about 40 minutes left on it, and there's enough to it now that I'm thinking there's enough 40 minutes left. You know, I've just got past the Patrick Wilson singing bit.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which is great. Patrick Wilson, you know, well, he's a Broadway fucking superstar, so he's going to have a good singing voice.
Yeah.
And I also watched all 3 Insidious movies.
Wow. Okay. Nice. You were in the mood.
Yes, I was. Yeah. The first Insidious movie cost $1.5 million.
Yeah, it made a fucking shitload.
It made like $90 million.
Blumhouse, baby.
That cost. Fucking that just looks that's staggering, and it's a good-looking movie.
He was on it like Juan was on his downswing a bit though, because he'd done Death Sentence.
Yeah.
Which hadn't done very well. So
and I think didn't Patrick Wilson work essentially for like standard fee, which is I think $60,000.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely it was the prototype Blumhouse production. It was the fuck all budget, but I'll let you do what you want.
Yeah.
And everybody basically work for scale, but we'll give you points on the back end.
Well, the Patrick Wilson acting thing, movie thing, is quite interesting in the sense that he says that movies are his passion thing. They're not his day job. So he doesn't worry about how much he's getting paid for them, because he's made his nut doing Broadway, and he's already, you know, he's spectacularly wealthy. So, you know, he can go out and do what he wants. They're what he does for fun. He never thought he'd get to be in movies, so that's what he does, which is quite staggering, really, when you think about it.
Well, no, absolutely, and I mean, yeah, I mean, oh god, Insidious. I really like Insidious.
It's a great movie. I really enjoyed the rewatching that. You know, it's 102 minutes. You know, it gets its stuff done, and you know, gets the fuck out. But it's consistent with its scares. Don't get me wrong. Its scares are nothing new. They're jump scares. They're loud noises, jump scares, but they're done well. They still fucking scare you. And Insidious 2 kind of tries to. It builds again a little bit and adds a different kind of dynamic to it, with it being the first one very much is Patrick Wilson's story. The second one, weirdly, sets itself up as being Patrick Wilson's story, but it's not. It's actually Rose Byrne's story, which is quite an interesting take on the way they're doing it. And you know, Rose Byrne's very good at it. They've got a great chemistry. I think Patrick Wilson often, in anything he does, I think he always has great chemistry with his female co-stars. He seems to allow them to take the lead almost, I think, which is something interesting that he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he did it in both Insidious and The Conjuring. He very much allows himself to play second fiddle to Rose Byrne and Vera Farmiga, and he also does a similar thing in like Little Children, where he essentially very much plays second fiddle to Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
In that, so yeah, Insidious 2 it's a cracking lot of fun. It's a little bit more intense than the first one, and then number 3 bouncing onto the Lee Whannell's.
Had you seen this one?
Yeah, I think we reviewed it on the show, didn't we?
Oh, did we? Fuck, okay, fair enough.
We reviewed the second Conjuring movie as well, and I think we actually predicted during our review of that Lee Whannell would his first directorial debut would be Insidious Chapter 3, and then it happened.
He's not doing the fourth, or is he directing the fourth one? I know he's written it.
I think he is. No, I think somebody else is. Somebody from their kind of little.
Their stable, like, innit? But,
yeah. Let's have a look. It's because it's out in in January, I believe.
Yeah, it's not long though. I think is Lynn Shay back in it again?
I would think she will be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Adam Robitel.
Okay, no idea who that is.
And he is written by Lee Winnell. Lee Winnell's also in it as well. He's reprising his role there. He directed The Taking of Deborah Logan, and he wrote Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension.
Oh, there's a fucking pedigree.
Yeah, that's not exactly. I haven't seen The Taking of Deborah Logan, but is it? Oh, is that one? Found footage, brilliant. What are we watching? That. And Parallel Activity of the Ghost Dimension. I'm guessing you saw this at the cinema.
I did, yeah.
I fucking thought you did. Have you seen all these movies at the cinema?
Yeah. I think. Hang on, how many have there been? Is there 5 or 6?
Parallel Activity series. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There are 6. Fuck, man. I tell you what, I could not tell you what happened in 4 or 5.
4 is 4. 5 is the marked ones.
Oh, hang on. No, to be fair, that one's more a spin-off.
Are the marked ones?
Yeah. Even though the ending of it is actually quite cool, because it's like time travel-y, and it turns out that the main guy in Paranormal Activity 5 was kind of around during the events of Paranormal Activity. It's a bit sketchy like that. Okay, so yeah, you got 1, which is the couple. 2, which is the wife in the couple. That's 3. So 2 is the girl in the couple's sister and her family. 3 is the flashback one in the 80s. 4 is, I remember that it's like a family move in, and the ending is almost the same as the ending of 3. 5 is the marked ones, which was the kind of Latino spin-off. There's like a post-credits sting in, I think, 4 about that. Like when they were going to do a whole Paranormal Activity universe. And then the Ghost Dimension, which is the one where they had the camera that could see the fucking spirity shit, and it actually ended with essentially like the birth of Satan or whatever.
Wow. But I've only seen 1.
Fuck, man. I tell you what, that was a weird hot and then not franchise, if ever there was one.
Yeah.
Like, so, oh god, 1 was great. I really like 1. 2 was meh. 3's really fun. 3 is really fun. And then it's just kind of shite from there.
I can't say the ones that we're rushing to.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Cool. That's all I've watched.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Just a load of fucking horror movies by James Wan.
Nice. Okay, so I watched a few things. The Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature, which I took Lottie to see yesterday.
I didn't know there was a Nut Job.
Yep, never seen The Nut Job, but Lottie'd seen the trailer for this loads, so it was like, cool. It's like Will Arnett is a squirrel.
Fair enough, of course he is.
Katherine Heigl is a squirrel.
Oh, that's a right bitch, isn't she?
Actually, she kind of is in it. Yeah. Basically, in the first one, they appear to have somehow taken over a nut shop. Like, they're not selling nuts. Like, apparently it's a nut shop. Actually, thinking about that's weird in itself. And the nut shop blows up, so they have to find somewhere to get nuts from. The local park. The mayor is planning on building a really rickety amusement park there, and they have to try and stop the mayor. Jackie Chan plays Kung Fu Mouse called Mr. Feng, who has a 1/16 inch punch. Which,
So it says smells then.
well, he probably has that as well. And I quite enjoyed that aspect of the film. It made me laugh a few times, and Lottie was actually pretty engaged. It is what it is, but what it is actually a fair bit more entertaining than a lot of kids' films I take her to go and see. I'd watch The Nut Job 2 50 times before even contemplating watching the Emoji Film again. Is there a moral to it? Yeah, fine, working together, whatever, that's cool. Jackie Chan's a Kung Fu mouse. That's all I need, really.
Yeah, 91 minutes.
Yeah, gets in, gets out. Yeah, like, I did not have a problem with it at all. I was fine spending an hour and a half with it. So, actually quite a pleasant surprise. I mean, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not amazing. It's not like best animated film of the year or anything like that, but it's simple pleasures.
With those kids movies, things like that, if you watch it and you come out of it going, that was fine, that I actually didn't get bored watching that, then you're fine.
Straight up. Exactly. Okay, I watched Nobody Speak, Trials of the Free Press, Netflix original documentary.
Oh, yeah. I've hovered over that. But I thought, I'm not going to watch that because I think it'll annoy me too much.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's so basically, it starts out being about the essentially bankrupting of Gawker through the damages they had to pay Hulk Hogan for publishing a sex tape of his online. But then it kind of morphs from there to, well, who actually paid for the trial, because Hulk Hogan could not afford the legal bills. And then it moves from there to, okay, well, if rich people can essentially sue the free press out of existence, how free is the press going to be for much longer? Which is a fair point. It's weird. There's an awful lot of Trump bashing. An awful lot of it, and I'm a Trump basher.
Yeah.
They don't really get any opposing talking heads apart from one guy. The rest of it is like archive footage. And the one guy was just the attorney for Hulk Hogan, who just kind of says things they were what they were, really. And it early on, it neatly balances the line between the free press is the free press. You've got to protect the First Amendment, but also acknowledging that Gawker really was kind of a vacuous, horrible fucking website.
Yeah.
But then later on, it almost felt like I was going to get hit by a pop-up ad by The Guardian saying, can you give us $5 a month so that we can continue, please? At the end of it. It felt like it was an advocacy piece instead of an actual documentary exploring sides and, getting arguments and then counter-arguing those arguments. It was basically, this is really, really bad, and it's obviously really, really bad, and it's really, really bad, but we're not going to get any of the really, really bad people to really interact with us in this documentary. And they don't even say we tried to speak to blah, 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 but they wouldn't speak to us.
It kind of seemed like, from what I could read about it, which isn't that much, that they started out making a documentary about one thing, and then the Trump thing happened while they were making it, and so they incorporated that into it, and that became a big part of it, so it kind of grew as they were making it.
Yeah, I mean,
does that come across?
Well, it's basically the first half to 2/3 is about the Gawker thing and the billionaire that funded the trial, and then the rest of it is basically, and they got these connections to Trump and the Republicans, and Trump's trying to do this and Trump's trying to do that, and a lot of it is really disturbing. I mean, like, he literally, there's footage in his rallies of saying, the press are over there, they're right over there, they're lying to you. And then, Trump's supporters basically, shouting abuse and trying to kick the shit out of them. And it's really, really, really scary. If you're really going to fucking... I mean, I suppose that the footage is enough. It is. But if you're really going to fucking lay the knife in, get someone on his side to try and argue Trump's argument, try and argue his point, and then destroy them through that. Instead, you're viewing footage which is real, but then if Trump ever commented on the film, he'd just be like, well, it's doctored footage, because that's all he ever does.
The thing is, I think part of it is probably that he'll do that anyway.
Yeah,
This about a rally over the weekend quoted himself and misquoted himself.
well, yeah, no. I mean, he's a guy who at a rally yesterday apparently said CNN have cut the live feed during his rally that CNN were broadcasting live. You know, I mean, that's the thing with Trump. It kind of like he makes his own bed. You know, he totally does. But at the same time, this film is made primarily for the people who are already against him.
Yeah.
You know, and
so
that's,
it's again, you're shouting into the fucking void.
It is preaching to the converted. It's like I Am Not Your Negro that I talked about a while back.
Yeah.
Like, that film is a powerful fucking film. And it's really upsetting. The people whose minds you are looking to change by making these documentaries are not watching these documentaries.
No, that's it. I mean, we've just had apparently the current head of the KKK has come out and said that they're going to be taken to the streets more in America, and there's going to be more violence in the streets.
That's it, you know, and it just the whole kind of like the let's just assume the worst isn't going to happen thing. It's kind of not there anymore, and I applaud these documentary filmmakers for making these films and for getting their voices out there. I wish that the people these films should be getting seen by are not seeing them, but also, yes, go on the attack. Yes, archive footage is proof enough. Well, no, it's not proof enough because it's not changing things. You need to get these people to fucking actually interact with you in these films and then destroy them through that. You know, you've got to be able to. You've got to actually have that dialogue, because otherwise it's just footage and people commenting on the footage, and it's like, well, I knew that anyway.
It seems a little bit at the moment that you try to feed the animal poison, but it's just gobbling it all up. It's just getting fucking. All that's happening is it's getting fatter. It's not dying.
No, exactly.
Which is a terrible analogy, but it is.
But I mean, my one thing though is, thankfully, we're over an eighth into this Trump presidency, and the noise. Oh God, we're trying not to be a political podcast, but fuck.
Yes.
The noise that it generates every time he says or does something feels as deafening as it was a year ago.
I'd say more so nowadays.
Exactly.
It's growing. There's got to come. The thing is, there's got to come a point at some point where the Republican Party have got to look at this and go, "This has become this could kill us as a party."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't feel irreversible. You know, he's, touch wood, he's passing fuck all stuff that it seems like it's going to have a lasting impact. He's unable to do. I mean, the wall and stuff, saying he'll shut the government down if he has to. Like, he's not going to be able. Of course, he's not going to actually be able to do that. There'll be enough. There will be enough Republicans who will stop it. There's already enough who challenge him, even when he puts severe pressure on them to do things, and they can't. They just won't do it. And
he's essentially he's a fucking charlatan. He's a snake oil salesman that does that's bravado and Hoover gets him by and gets him through the right channels, and he helps people sign checks. He doesn't sign them himself. He helps other people. He doesn't actually own that much himself. He doesn't even have that much wealth. But his billionaire status is based on his brand. And the thing about all that is, he's never been under the spotlight like he is now. And the whole thing is, we think that people think that these people who get into these positions, and I'm going to include our fucking Prime Minister in this, we think they're smart people because, well, they have to be to get where they are. They have to be to have done all this. And we never sort of look at the possibility of, what if they're actually not? What if MPs like that, like Theresa May or David Davis, are actually in those positions because their family money, they were too stupid to do anything fucking else, and it was, just make them an MP. Why? Because you can fucking do what you want and you can fuck up all you want, but at least when they're doing that, they're just going to fuck up the country. They're not going to fuck up my business interests. Yeah. And that's kind of it. That's why George Osborne became Chancellor of the Exchequer, because his family didn't want him to fucking bankrupt their family. They were happy for him to bankrupt the country. They didn't want him to bankrupt their family.
Well, there you go. Well, let's move on.
Yes.
The last week.
We genuinely do try to not get into.
No, we do.
Politics.
Yeah. Last thing, the interview. Watched it again. It's still fucking amazing.
That film.
I fucking love the interview. I fucking love it.
I've only watched it once and I really enjoyed it. I think I should give it a rewatch.
Mike, there is a line reading that James Franco does where it's the scene where Lizzie Kaplan's come round and they're talk him and Rogan are having a conversation and she's talking about how he's honeypotting him, and it's like, you can't see past your erection. He's like, I don't have an erection. He's like, yes, you have. You've got a massive erection. And then he's like, okay, feast your eyes, and then just displays his fucking bulge. And it's I am a big Franco is doing some mad hammy overacting shit in this film, and I gobble up every single fucking morsel of it. It is that film is a 5-star peach.
I love the fact that James. I love the fact that in this current movie universe we have, there is somebody like James Franco.
Oh my God, yes.
Who is very smart, very talented, also is, let's be honest, is movie star good looks.
Yep.
But he's basically doing whatever the fuck he feels like at that moment.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Would you be surprised if James Franco ended up directing fucking a porn scene for Brazzers or something like that?
Yeah.
You wouldn't, would you?
No.
It just happened, you'd be like, and it came up on TMZ and said, James Franco directs porn scene for Brazzers or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I could see that.
Yep, quite. It's the Franco, man, he does whatever he wants, and my God, the disaster artist I'm looking forward to.
Yep.
My God, man. Cool, I'm done. Questions?
We do actually have a couple, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Let me get to them.
Sorry, I can get them as well.
Andrew Jones, Ethan Rudd. If you watched a film behind a catchphrase-style segment blocker, which part of the frame would you most want uncovered? How many is there?
I don't know, say 9, 3x3 or something. I'd say the middle.
I wouldn't.
What, you just watch it behind the thing the entire time?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want the middle one. I'd want to the right of the middle. The middle line to the right.
Okay. No, I'm just going to go for the middle.
And the other one is Steve Dixon's a great question on that. I enjoyed that question when it came.
Yeah.
I thought about that a fair bit, I'm not going to lie.
Nice.
Steve Dixon at the Great SD. What are your top 5 sci-fi movies of all time?
Oh, fuck me. Alien, Sunshine, 2001.
Yeah, Alien and 2001 would be in mine. I'd also throw out Interstellar into there.
Oh, that's a good shout. Terminator, Blade Runner.
Terminator.
That's 5.
Yeah, and there's one I'm missing. Escape from New York, would that count as a sci-fi?
Yeah, sure.
Escape from New York.
Nice.
But then there's fucking that's like RoboCop and fucking Total Recall. I would say I'm not a sci-fi fan, but I kind of fucking think I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sci-fi action, maybe.
Yeah. Yes, probably. I'd probably agree with that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I think that is it.
Actually, I just want to throw in one thing that I would kick myself if I didn't mention. I finally listened to the Bret Easton Ellis Walter Hill episode.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. You were a fan, weren't you?
It's a fantastic. I mean, Walter Hill's fascinating to listen to talk about anything anyway, because he's fantastically honest in his assessment of his own career and on Hollywood, and he's also he's also a sort of stand-up guy in the sense that Bret Easton Ellis asked him a question. I can't remember who it's about right now, and he does kind of say a lot. I don't know. It's Dan Bannon who wrote the original script for Alien.
Who did? Sorry, Dan O'Bannon.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was sort of saying, he said, I don't really want to speak ill of the recently passed. He said, especially when that person's not there to counterpoint it.
Mm.
And he's very much trying to be, even though he's saying, me and Dan just didn't get on, really. But he does outright sort of come out and say, the original script was, it was pretty bad. And he goes into what sort of caught their eye with it, etc. And he goes over bits, and they're talking about the Assignment movie and how how it angered the LGBT community, and of course with Bret Easton Ellis being a gay man, he sort of talks about it from the point of view of somebody who is homosexual, but it is actually finds themselves quite easily irked by the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And so you've got two very honest, very intelligent people talking about those kind of things and the way that we view art, etc., things like that. And honestly, it is a fascinating hour and a half listening to it, talk about it, and listening to just what he'll essentially go through his career. And he talks quite a lot about Alien. He talks a lot about gender politics in film, and how that somebody who was talking to him about 40 Hours was talking about how racist it was, and him saying actually it's not racist. We can't just keep going back and retro reviewing everything and looking at them in today's eyes.
Yeah.
He said that it doesn't work like that. He said art happens when it happens. Yeah. And it's fascinating the way he kind of talks about it. He talks about working with like Sam Peckinpah, etc., and the Sam Peckinpah essentially, succumbing to alcohol addiction, and he gives some sort of fascinating insights into that. And it really is an hour and a half podcast that is just, it's a great listen, and it's a must, I think, for people who enjoy our podcast, have either listened to it and already going, yeah, we fucking know. And if you haven't, I'd strongly recommend giving it an hour and a half. Not over giving us an hour and a half, but that's at the end of the fucking podcast, so tricked you. But yeah, it's definitely worth a listen.
Cracking, dude. That sounds really good. Okay, so next week.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it?
It's a busy one, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think Logan Lucky is a defo for me.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Detroit's out as well. American Made as well. Fucking hell.
Thing is, I'm going to see all three.
Okay, I'll see what I can get to, but Logan Lucky is my priority.
Logan Lucky is the one I'll absolutely do before next record. Becky wants to see Detroit, so I'll be going to see that with her. Nice. So, but I will be going to see all three because Made in America is very much my wheelhouse.
Yeah. I know, I'm quite looking forward to that actually, and the early word sounds pretty promising as well. So,
and I've got tomorrow morning. I kind of wish one of them had been on an early release because I could have gone and seen it. I'm off tomorrow, so I could have gone and see it tomorrow. But none of them are on early release.
It's kind of weird that none of them were, considering it's the bank holiday weekend as well. You'd think they'd like to get like a jump on that.
That's it, yeah. So I'm going to go and see The Hitman's Bodyguard tomorrow morning.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Well, yeah, tell us about that next week then. I don't think I'm going to get to that, but...
10:50. The thing is, it's a movie where Beck said to me, you could quite easily wait just like a couple of months until that comes out, then couldn't you? And I was like, I could, yeah. But also it's on at 10:15.
You've been looking forward to that thing for months, man. Like, I know you've been pretty excited by that. So no, don't. Yeah,
I just think I'd kick myself if I didn't go and see it at the cinema.
Yeah, I agree. I think you would. Okay, so we'll have plenty to talk about next week. And more Patreon stuff is coming. Patreon.com/Dude and a Monkey. My next piece on the BFI, the Sight and Sound Top 250, looking at Kez.
Kes.
Yeah.
Bollock.
Yeah, that'll be out. That'll be out over the next week or so. And I need a wee at Dude and a Monkey, at Dude Foz, at Ian Loring. Thank you very much to Becky for representing. Have a good week, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.